All right, guys. So we got to talk about a story that I think is a prime example of why black people cannot get ahead. Okay, because our priorities are simply in the wrong place. Okay, we
Facts.
worry about the
No doubt.
wrong things. We get
Yep.
outraged and get so much energy towards things that literally do not matter when there are
Crazy.
much bigger issues that I think that black people should be putting anger and outrage towards. Like,
Yep.
for example, all of the black people that are being killed every single day in these little cities across the country,
Violently.
mainly because of these soft on the ground
Callously.
policies from Democrats. I
Yep.
think that that's a much bigger priority. However,
Facts.
that is not what black people are concerned about, right? What they're actually concerned about are comedians, okay? Comedians who tell jokes about George Floyd, they're apparent civil rights icon that you can't
Saviors.
tell a joke about,
Messiahs.
okay? About George
Crazy.
Floyd, their apparent civil rights
Gods.
icon that you can't tell a joke about, okay? And this is what they're upset about because David Lucas, who happens to be black, told tell a joke about, okay? And this is what they're upset about because David Lucas, who happens to be black, told a joke about George Floyd that they didn't like. And ever since then, they have been boo-hoo, whining, and crying and calling to cancel David Lucas. I mean, some of the woke revolutionaries who claim not to be fragile on their shirt, right, are so fragile that they're calling for code.
That. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That is a shot to that bozo TAL. I won't say the full what it stands for, but I know who he's referring to. I know who he is. Who he I know who he is referring to. Referring referring to. Referring to.
Claim not to be fragile on their shirt, right? And calling to cancel David Lucas. I mean, some of the woke revolutionaries who tell a joke about, okay? And this is what they're upset about because David Lucas, who happens to be black, told a joke about George Floyd that they didn't like. And ever since then, they have been boo-hoo, whining, and crying and calling to cancel David
Goofy,
Lucas. I mean, some
goofy,
of the woke
goofy,
revolutionaries
goofy.
it's not what black people are concerned about, right? What they're actually concerned about are comedians, okay? Comedians who
Wow.
tell jokes about George Floyd, they're apparent civil rights icons that you can't tell a joke about, okay? And this is what they're upset about because David Lucas, who happens to be black, told a joke about George Floyd that they didn't like. And ever since then, they have been boo-hoo, whining, and crying and calling to cancel David Lucas. I mean, some of the woke revolutionaries who claim not to be fragile on their shirt, right, are so fragile that they're calling for code enforcers
Yeah.
to
Sucker
issue
stuff.
consequences for
Bozo
people
stuff.
like David Lucas
Bozo stuff.
for being anti-black and not staying on code, which means you're not behaving the way that black liberals say that you're supposed to behave as a black.
That the woke blacks want you to uh
For being
the black
anti-black and
despots
not
that the
staying
black
on code,
despots
which means
that
you're
the
not
black
behaving the way that black liberals say that you're
despots
supposed to.
want you to
For being anti-black and not staying on code, which means you're not behaving the way that black liberals say that you're supposed to behave as a black person. Because of that, he must face consequences for his
yeah
actions, according to some of the woke
sucker
revolutionaries who
stuff.
seem to be extremely fragile about
Yeah.
the George Floyd joke. This is the problem with staying on code. Because when it comes to being FBA, I understand people want to talk about, hey, we got to stay on code. The code in and of itself is meaningless without enforcement. The law, let's take an example for the law. People don't fear the law, right? When it says, hey, do 35 or do 65, people don't fear going 80. They don't fear going 40. That's not what they fear. They fear the repercussions for them being caught breaking the law. That's what they fear. They fear the repercussions from violating the law. So when we have a code and we are without code enforcers, then the code is meaningless. If we have people like this anti-black racist that suffers no repercussions from his
Yeah,
anti-black
he's wild, bro. TAL is wild.
people like this
He's
anti-black
wild.
racist that suffers no repercussions.
Yeah. This guy, bro. He calls every black soul who does not agree. He calls every black soul who does not agree with him, with with him. He introduces, he calumniates every black soul who disagrees, who does not share the views that he has. Crazy, crazy.
From his anti-black behavior.
He's not good.
and
He's
the
not
code
laudable.
is
He's
meaningless.
not pro-black. He's not laudable. A lot of people believe the a lot of people a lot of people deludedly believe that he is pro-black, laudable, virtuous. He is not virtuous, not laudable, not positive, not unifying, not he's derisive, he's divisive, he's he sows seeds of discord. That is what this that is what this bird does.
People like this anti-black racist that suffers no repercussions from his
This guy is sad. He's sad.
People like this anti-black racist that suffers no
He
repercussions
used to be based.
from his
Now
anti-black
he's
behavior, then the
a
code
super
is
wokey, bro.
meaningless. There has to be, along
He's
with
super
the
woke.
code, has anti-black behavior, then the code is meaningless. There has to be, along with the code, has to be code enforcers. Leaving the show is not good enough. All right? People like this anti-black racist that suffers
False
no
labels. The false
repercussions
labels.
from his
Just because you detest a joke, that does not make David Lucas anti-black.
anti-black behavior, then the code is meaningless.
This guy,
People
TAL
like this anti-black racist
did
that
take
suffers no repercussions
this guy TAL did TAL bars.
from his anti-black behavior.
The second,
the code is meaningless.
the
There
second,
has to be,
the
along
second,
with the code,
the
has
second,
to be code
the
enforcement.
second
Leaving
TAL means take a loss. Take a loss.
the show is not good enough. All right? It's not good enough. With the code, has to be code enforcers. Leaving the show is not good enough. All right? It's not good enough. There has to be social repercussions for
Wow.
this type of behavior.
Wow.
I would go a little further, but there are limitations to what I can and can't say on this platform.
Crazy.
But there has to be
Crazy.
a little further.
It
but there are
sounds like
limitations to what I can and can't say
it sounds
on this
like
platform.
he
But
called for physical harm, physical violence. That is despicable, devilish.
there has to be repercussions for such anti-black behavior, especially. But there has to be repercussions for such anti-black behavior, especially.
What he believes is what he believes is anti-black, not what is actually anti-black. You gotta know you gotta, bro. Just because you believe, just because you believe that what somebody did, just because you believe it is anti-black, that does not mean that does not mean that it is anti-black.
Social
Just because you
repercussions
view it
for this type of
as
behavior. I would go
anti-black,
a little further,
anti-black,
but there are limitations to what I
that
can.
does not that does not mean that it is. That it is.
Social repercussions for this type of behavior. I would go a little further, but there are limitations to what I can and can't say on this platform. But there has to be repercussions for such anti-black behavior, especially from within. If we can't filter our own, and best believe these saltines do not want that to happen.
This
In
guy,
many cases, they
he claims to be anti-hate, anti-hatred, anti-bigotry, but he supports bigotry. He supports bigotry. He supports bigotry. He supports bigotry. ODM, anti-white hatred. Yo, bro, this guy is a certified racist. This guy is a certified racist. This guy is a certified racist. A certified racist. He is. Blacks can be racist. Blacks can be racist. Racist. You don't have to be in power to be racist.
from within.
If you say slurs, if you say
do not want that
denigratory remarks about other races, you are racist. If you say denigratory, if you say truly denigratory, derogative things about other races, you are racist. 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 That is the truth. The truth.
From within. If we can't filter our own, and best believe these saltines do not want that to happen.
Said,
in many cases, they don't allow
what's that is an anti-white slur. Saltines, that is not a positive word. That is not positive. That is castigative. That is verbally abusive. That is derogatory. Derogatory. That is a pejorative. That is a pejorative. A pejorative. Period.
From within. If we can't filter our own, and best believe these saltines
it is okay because he's black. The goofballs they excuse this. They say it is okay because he's black, because he's yeah, because black equates to oppressed. Black equates to oppressed. Black equates to oppressed. To oppressed. That is why he can get away with this. That is why he can get away with this garbage.
From within. If we can't filter our own, and best believe these saltines do not want that to happen. In many cases, they don't allow that to happen.
Oh, but you follow me a little bit, right? See that in
And as long as there are people like this anti-black buffoon we see on stage,
This guy.
guess what? There will always be someone to spew out this anti-black dribble. But I would argue, if there were repercussions, just as there are repercussions, you wearing the wrong color in the wrong hood, if there were repercussions like that for these people, guess what? Then you wouldn't be able to find someone. Because there has to be a pressure point.
Crazy.
There has to be an understanding that, hey, these racist saltines are paying
Wow.
to spew out this anti-black
Wow.
rhetoric, but at the same time, the repercussions
TAL,
of doing this far
he
outweighs
is
any
a devil.
financial.
TAL is a devil.
But at the same time, the repercussion for me doing this far outweighs
The anti-white
any financial
rhetoric
gain that I may
is
gather.
execrable,
That's what needs
to
to
be
happen.
reviled,
There has to be
not to be lauded.
financial gain that I may gather. That's what needs to happen. There has to be a pain point that they understand it's not worth
This anti-black people who disagree rhetoric is execrable, to be reviled.
Has to be a pain point
Anti people who
that they
disagree.
understand it's not worth it.
Period.
Yeah, you see that, you heard that. Okay, the what?
And this anti people who disagree. Period. Is execrable, to be hated. Yeah. Bro. It is sad that a lot of people excuse the fomenting of violence against people who disagree. Who disagree.